If you can go to Baltimore versus the best defense in football, if you can march down the field, convert 2nd and 19 after your left tackle gives up a sack, you pay Deshaun Watson for that. He did that. I think he's worth it.
Oh, Emmanuel, you were so close to having a good take for once. Except for this part. Last Sunday, Groper Cleveland was at least on the field, starting to show the value of his contract. That all changed a short 3 days later. Mr. Cleveland is now out for the season. For his massive $230 million fully guaranteed contract, Groper has been suspended only 1 game less than he has played, appearing in 12 games while barred 11, and injured for a couple more. And what price was paid for all of this? Let's examine the worst trade in NFL history, and that's coming up right after this. Hey, someone's NFL season might be over, but that doesn't mean yours is. That's right, using my code 5points, all first-time users on PrizePicks will receive an instant deposit match up to $100. If you deposit $69, PrizePicks will give you $69. We've gone over this. It's simple. You pick 2 to 6 players and then decide if they will get more or less of their prize pick projection. You can win, get this, 25 times your money on any entry. Speaking of, this week I am going Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Dak Prescott all over their projection. Please, God, let that hit. PrizePicks also has a promotion schedule, so you can take advantage of deals like Taco Tuesday or Flex Fridays, where you can win your cash back up to $20. Your money is safe and can be easily withdrawn. Collect those winnings, and don't forget, these are the eligible states. So after this video, first-time users go to prizepicks.com, download the app from the link below, and use my code 5points for a 100% deposit match up to $100. Again, that's promo code 5points on PrizePicks. The trade. Before there was the first of 26 allegations against Deshaun Watson, he wanted out of Houston, which at the time nobody blamed him for. Houston was a dumpster fire being puppeted by a Wish.com televangelist. And so Groper demanded a trade, and he got it. Here are the exact details, executed on March 18, 2022. Cleveland traded its 2022, 2023, and 2024 first-round picks, 2023 third-round pick, and fourth-round picks in 2022 and 2024 to the Houston Texans for Cleveland, and a 2024 sixth-round pick. Groper then inked a fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract extension, the most guaranteed money in NFL history. Allegations aside, history aside, this contract was, by the very definition of the word, unprecedented. Let's start with what the Texans got. There were many trades and moves that Nick Caserio, the Texans GM who Groper didn't want to play for, made that ended up making his former team way better. First, let's start with the draft picks. It's complicated, but these are all their moves from the 2022 NFL draft. The Texans' 2022 first-round pick from the Browns was traded to the Eagles for picks number 15, 124, 162, and 166. Essentially, they dropped back 2 slots for a haul of later picks. The Texans took guard Kenyon Green, who is currently on IR. The Texans then traded the 124th pick back to the Browns and took Alabama wide receiver John Mechie, who has played 8 games and is a decent number 3 option. The 162nd pick was traded with their 80th pick to the Broncos for pick 75. And the Texans selected Alabama linebacker Christian Harris, who is the backup will and has played in all 8 games this year. The Texans traded the 166th with their 207th to the Bears to move up to the 150th pick, taking Stanford DT Thomas Booker, who played 10 games his rookie year and then was cut. The Texans used their 4th round pick from the Browns to draft Florida running back Dameon Pierce, who has been effective, rushing for over 1,200 yards and 5 TDs over his first 2 seasons. In the 2023 draft, the Texans received the 12th overall pick from the Browns, which they flipped along with the number 33 pick, a 2024 round first and third, and received from the Cardinals the number 3 overall pick, drafting Alabama edge rusher Will Anderson, who as a rookie has started all 9 games this year and logged 2 sacks. And then they traded that 3rd round pick, the 73rd, and along with the 161st to the Rams for the number 69 and 191 pick, and drafted wide receiver Tank Dell, who's having a monster rookie year, 34 receptions for 510 yards and 5 TDs to date. A nice return for the 69th overall pick. And the Texans still have the Browns' 2024 1st and 4th round pick, which has them picking currently at number 24 and 124th overall as of today. So from the Cleveland picks alone, the Texans have added a starting running back, starting wide receiver, and a starting defensive end, with more to come. With the luxury of having gotten rid of their maligned massage therapist touching QB, and because of his absence, the Texans successfully tanked their way to the number 2 overall pick in the 2023 draft. They drafted CJ Stroud, who by all means has been a revelation. The former OSU quarterback is balling, 15 TDs to 2 picks, and has his team looking playoffs. He started the year with 192 straight pass attempts without a pick, an NFL record to begin a career, and he passed for 470 yards in a game, also a rookie record. On top of that, how can you not love this man and his story? Oh, and he wasn't accused of diddling 26 women. Right now, he is the better QB between him and Groper Cleveland. So we know what the Texans got. Let's see what the Browns got. Real quick, the Texans traded a pick back to the Browns where they took Cade York, who they cut after 1 season. Drafting a kicker, what's the worst that could happen? Let's tackle Groper Cleveland's play. Obviously, rust was a factor in his first campaign back in 2022. He played in only 6 games, threw 7 TDs to 5 picks, and had a QBR of 79.1. He was awful, but showed flashes. This year, at times, he was pedestrian, but his record as a starter was 5-1, 7 TDs to 4 picks, and a QB rating of 84.3. But here's our big buts, and everyone has a big butt. He was mysteriously injured for 3 games and left one of his wins, in quotations, early, letting PJ Walker have his glory versus Indy. He only threw 6 passes in that game. Yes, he might have outplayed Lamar, but he was awful in the first half of that Ravens game. He finally put it together in the second half, and then his season was promptly over, giving Browns fans a tantalizing preview of what could have been, had the football gods and karma not intervened. Let's look at Watson objectively. He has been average in 12 games. The Browns defense was already good before he got there. Don't give me his 8-4 record. PJ Walker is 2-1 as a starter this year. PJ Walker. It's the defense carrying this team. And for what the Browns are paying Groper, average isn't good enough. Let's talk about that. The contract. This is the last year the Browns aren't handcuffed by Groper Cleveland's contract. In 2023, his cap hit is only $19 million, but next year that balloons to $63.9 million for the next 3 consecutive years. That means they are going to have to get creative in keeping their elite defense together. Impending free agents like Grant Delpit, Zadarius Smith, Anthony Walker all could instantly reshape the defense if they leave to seek the money that's going to Mr. Cleveland. Since the Browns really went all in on winning this year, what happens if they win without Watson? A Groper. What if Dorian Thompson-Robinson balls out, or they make a deep run, which with this defense, as much as it hurts, they could? Well, then you would think they might try to move on from Watson. However, his dead cap hit next year is an absurd $200 million, and no team in this league is trading for that fucking contract. Idiotic Browns fans on Twitter believe there are scenarios where they could get out of Watson after next year, but sorry, the Haslams signed the mortgage. They have to buy this house. So why is this the worst trade in NFL history? Look at where the Browns are headed versus where the Texans are headed. The Texans are trending towards sustainable success, while the Browns are literally in football hell. They can't tank to get a high draft pick, and they are likely ill-equipped for a deep run without Groper behind center. And if they do make a run, it will be because of nothing they spent their money on. They either win a Super Bowl this year with DTR or never. And remember, this is Cleveland we're talking about.
You are a factory of sadness!
And the worst part is, they had Josh Dobbs on the roster at the start of this season. Cleveland Browns, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Dobbs, pressured, keeps the play alive, hustles outside, Dobbs,